It's Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome Awareness Month, and we are tackling the general lack of a disability justice lens among discourse on social media around Ehlers-Danlos. I'm using Sins Invalid's 10 Principles of DJ, and for our first principle, we're starting with intersectionality. In a nutshell, this principle says that we are many different things, and they all impact us. As Audre Lorde says, we do not live single-issue lives. Every person has multiple identities, and these identities can be a source of oppression and privilege. Now, oppression is a complex machine that works differently with different input. A straight Hispanic man in DC who is deaf will have a different experience than a Black woman in Mississippi with cerebral palsy, and will have a different experience than a white trans woman in the Midwest who is disabled by her PTSD. While these intersectional identities do not describe all that we are, it does change the output of the oppression machine. And small differences in location, language, class, gender, these can program entirely different experiences in the oppression machine. And this is not to mention that oppressive conditions are often disabling in and of themselves, causing new, temporary, or long-term disabilities and worsening pre-existing conditions. Therefore, the experience of disability and the way society interacts with disability, this is connected to and shaped by these intersections, such as race, gender, class, history, relationship to colonization, etc. The term itself, intersectionality, was coined in the 1980s by Kimberly Crenshaw to describe the experiences of Black women who experience racism and sexism in specific ways. This principle of intersectionality makes nuance an intrinsic part of the disability justice conversation and movement. We all have areas where we experience both privilege and oppression. This is a rich texture of humanity that should not be glossed over or simplified, but rather used both to strengthen our movements and to strengthen our compassion and our ability to connect with and fight for our communities. As we move forward with the other principles of disability justice, intersectionality will be woven throughout, because focusing on disability rights can't come at the expense of excluding other intersections of identity. I cannot pretend to understand what it's like to experience the oppression machine with a different input than my own. And thus, when I'm talking disability justice and discussing advocacy within our community, my own experience, especially as someone who has a lot of privileges, cannot be the main experience that I'm drawing my information and conclusions from. Personal experience absolutely informs everything that we do, but as we advocate for our community, it is vital that we keep intersectionality at the front, because none of us will truly be free until we all are. So that's sort of a quick rundown on intersectionality as the first principle of disability justice. If you have any questions, additions, oppositions, please put them in the comments, and we'll pick up next time with the next principle, which is leadership of the most impacted.